It's just, as I'm reading my notes, I can't help but to think of, I posted on Twitter a tweet about how Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was awesome, and I kid you not, when a Twitter account with the username Koba is weaker favorited the tweet. How do people come up with these things? How do people have time for these things?
Turn down for what?
Yes! Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our first video review for Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, a movie that is not new, but it's new for me. I saw it for the first time a few days ago, and let me tell you, it's a superb movie. First, I'll give a little brief synopsis for people who might not be familiar with the movie itself. It's, if you haven't seen the first one, of course, apes have been, brewing this war for a little bit. They want to fight back to the humans for, treating them poorly. And in this installment, we're getting really close to the war. We're getting very close to the war now, and the apes have developed their own civilization in the woods, and the humans are without power. They're without life because the simian flu has taken over, and people think it was from the apes, but it was the humans, as it was alluded to in the movie, that induced the simian flu into the ape. But the most important part is that Koba is he's looking like that rough and tough guy, and first of all, played beautifully. In this movie, we'll get into it, but the mocap was great. And Koba is looking to essentially overthrow Caesar because he wants his power, and he thinks that humans are bad, and human kill ape, There's a great scene in the movie where Koba is talking to Caesar, who is played by the masterful Andy Serkis, and Koba's looking at all the scars, and his eyes is very glossy, looking like he lost some vision in his eye. He's saying, human work, human work, human work. Caesar just, what can you say? But Caesar knows that there are good humans out there, like our lead actor in this movie, that is Malcolm, played by Jason Clarke. And just wonderful, wonderful work by Jason Clarke, because, if I were to dive into a lot of the positives about this movie, since there aren't a lot of cons about the movie, it's that Jason Clarke truly gives you that sense of helplessness and conveys the feeling of the desperation of the human race for power, but without the narcissism, we are the superior race, because he still cares about the apes. He's a scientist. So without all the cheese, he's able to he's able to portray a beautiful version of the character. I'm sure you could fit in a lot of lead actors into that role, but Jason Clarke, it's going to be hard to see anybody else but him play that role. So Matt Reeves got himself a good one. He's got himself a golden movie here. Okay, we'll dive into some more positives. Gary Oldman, even though he's not in the movie too much, Gary Oldman just does a great job of, he's a leader with a mission to destroy the apes and protect his people, but he also gives you a sense of the humane side. When the power gets restored, spoiler alert, I apologize, power gets restored, he turns on his iPad, because it was already on the charger. You hear the Apple beep. I'm pretty sure that was product placement for Apple. He turns on his iPad and sees pictures of his family, and he starts crying. It's not just any kind of cry. The man cries. He's got his glasses on. He is into it, man. Like, grabbing his face and just like tears coming down. Even though I was one of the only ones in the theater, actually I think I was the only one in the theater, he just brings you in, and he makes you feel it. I think that was just a great positive about the movie, and I think the script was written beautifully, because half the time you forget that you're captivated by CGI work, CGI apes that sometimes don't even speak English. They just give you hand signals, or they'll literally nod their head and it's a sentence on the subtitles. I mean, I love the work that they did. The technology that they use is bar none. I mean, I don't think a lot of industries can touch this CGI work. If it's not nominated for an Oscar, I will be surprised. I don't think the actors will get nominated. I think the technology and the visuals and the FX, that will get nominated. Excuse me. The only con I could take from this movie would most likely be the fact that Gary Oldman wasn't used as much as I would have liked him to. This is an expectation I need to sort of control. I need to temper, because when I see a name like Gary Oldman in a movie, you almost forget that, look, he's not the lead. You know, you got Andy Serkis, Jason Clarke, they're the leads. Gary Oldman's more of a secondary character, but you want him so badly to be a lead because it's Gary Oldman. I need to be careful with those expectations, but even though he was a secondary character, maybe I feel like he could have gone a few more minutes. You know, I wanted to maybe see them set up the C4 that they would use to later blow the tower, not into total bits, but it would eventually kill a lot of apes. So this movie ends on sort of a cliffhanger ending, I would say. We know they're making a sequel, that is in the works, and Matt Reeves has said that at the end of the credits, you should stay for the end of the credits. I didn't, because I figured it wasn't worth it. There's no one else in the theater, there's no excitement. I think that if you're going to buy it on Blu-ray, just wait for after the credits, listen to the audio so you can hear it yourself, or even go on YouTube, I'm sure they have it up there. There's audio of debris seemingly being moved, chimps, young, old, not sure, making noises, picking up some like big block or something off another ape. And to me, it sounds like Koba will be back in the next movie. It sounds like he didn't die, because if Caesar got shot in the chest and fell many, many feet down below and did not die, you know, what makes you think Koba's going to die? I think that he'll be back. The only thing I can see about this movie is that it would just be balls to the wall action, because the war is coming. Everyone knows that, and Matt Reeves said there's not a big time jump in the movie, so we're gonna still see the remnants of the war, I believe. For me, out of 5 stars, if I had to rate it, absolutely had to rate it, I would give it 4, and I gave 4.5 to Guardians of the Galaxy. Excuse me. But that review will be in our podcast tomorrow. So I highly recommend Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Matt Reeves got himself a good one, and we will be talking more about this on the podcast. Like I said, check us out in the links, and look forward to more talk about this movie. Thank you. Seriously though, like these Twitter accounts for everything. But I mean, if they follow me, I wouldn't be mad about it. It's just like another follower, right? Nah. If you like what you heard, subscribe to our podcast on Podomatic.com by clicking the link. If you want to follow us on the go and keep up with our tweets, go to Twitter. And if you liked what you saw here on this video, go ahead and give the video a like and subscribe, because that's how we know you like what we put out.